What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, back with another very exciting video. A lot of people want to see this. I want to see this. It's never been done online. I feel like there's been tons of videos of the H2R being on the dyno, but nobody ever posts the numbers. I don't know why, but you can never verify like how much the H2R makes on the dyno, and I'm very excited about it. Hopefully I don't get bummed, you know what I mean? Like, because this bike supposedly it's exactly, I think, like 326 horsepower. I say 330 because it's like right there, and plus I got an upgraded air filter, so I'm assuming that adds a bit of horsepower. So yeah, 330 horsepower. You know, you guys know that that's to the crank, so to the wheel it'll probably be, I'm guessing, 280, 290, something like that. I think that sounds about right. But yeah, 280, 290 is what I'm hoping for the H2R to the wheel. And after that, we're gonna check the air to fuel ratio. Troy and Brent are here from Brent Tuning, and they said that pretty much the fueling on this is pretty much really bad. Stock, everything else on it is great, you know, like the parameters and all that tuning stuff that I don't know much about are great. It just needs fueling to be adjusted, and with that it can gain up to 30 wheel horsepower. So let's see if that's gonna happen. Even if that doesn't happen, I'm okay with it, because 30 to the wheel is absolutely insane. Usually if you tune a bike, let's say like a, I don't know, like a Ducati or whatever, any bike, usually if you gain like 10, 15, maybe possibly 20 wheel horsepower after adding a full exhaust system and an air filter, you know, the basic stuff, then you can get like 10 to max, if I'm really pushing it, 20 wheel horsepower. But most of the time at the peak you're gonna get like around 10 wheel horsepower, which is a very, very good amount, especially for bikes that weigh very small. So like the weight to ratio is absolutely going to be insane with such a slight upgrade. So this bike, the H2R, is right here, my beautiful baby. As you guys know, it already comes with the full H2R system. That's Brent testing the H2.
Reading, awesome.
Yeah, so doing the reading right now.
Full read. Gonna be the first OBD programmed H2R 21.
There you guys heard it. First ever. Pretty much, honestly, I think this might be also the first tuned H2R ever. I don't think anyone has tuned an H2R before, no?
I think back in the day, Brox Davidson and like Ricky Gadsden did one where they got that bike Kawasaki with gold, but this is definitely like different, more comprehensive, full hex control. Doing it this way for binary, so
okay. I look forward to it.
We're gonna do this like 100% from scratch today. Take our time and perfect.
Yeah, already as I've said, like this bike already runs amazing, runs very smooth. But why not add more horsepower, right?
So they have they put a ton of fuel in these bikes, you know, for extra safety and warranty purposes. So I'm willing to bet there's 25 to 30 horsepower in just correcting the fuel on this bike. So.
See, that's confirmed. That's exactly what I just told you guys. So I'm hoping for the best. What do you think stock? Because this is supposedly exactly 326. I'd say 330 horsepower. To the wheel, maybe 280, 290, maybe, hopefully.
I think lower. I think
lower.
I think these dyno lower than they should. We'll find out in a minute.
Okay, so what's your guess?
245, 250.
Okay, if it's at 245, 250, that's as low as my H2. Well, it's not low, but my H2 did 252 with a Brox full system exhaust and a Sprint air filter, the F1. I have the F1, the race one. Yeah, so it's not supposedly for road use, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. The H2 has been fine. It's running healthy, gladly. But yeah, so let's see. According to Brent, this might do the same numbers as the H2. In my opinion, it definitely feels faster. But, you know, it could be mental. I don't know. I see more speed in this. You know, I've seen higher speeds and all. So, like, I don't know. In fifth gear, this did like 193 miles an hour. So that's definitely going to be exciting. But, yeah, hopefully it makes more power. Because, yeah, I don't think anywhere online they say... there's a ton of videos on the H2R on the dyno, but nobody, like, ever puts the numbers.
Yeah. And I know that there's... Obviously, it's steer restricted and tuned much better than an H2 because of the lack of road use, but there's some things I spent probably the last 2 days studying the factory computer. There's some room for improvement for sure.
All right, that's what we want. Yeah, this bike already runs great. We just need more power, and I don't know, it should run a lot better. Plus, I did upgrade the air filter on it. It's like 3% more airflow with a DNA air filter.
Okay, DNA.
So yeah, that should help out a little bit too. But yeah, stay tuned, and we're also going to compare the H2R numbers to the H2 numbers. But as I said, like my H2 on 91 pump gas with the Brox slash cut, like the OG stainless steel full system with the really aggressive air filter. That one did 252 to the wheel. So let's see what the H2R does stock, and then let's also like compare after the tune what it's gonna do. And yeah, just look at some numbers. Should be exciting. Hopefully I don't get too disappointed. Ideally I want to see like 300 to the wheel, but I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea. We got the H2R strapped in and should be ready to go. We're warming up. Scratch anything over here. I hope you guys can hear me too. It's very, very loud here. So yeah, strapped in. And first of all, we're gonna do a baseline run, so we're gonna see what it does stock, and then after that, we're gonna adjust some fueling and tuning, and it should be making upwards or close to 300 wheel horsepower. Oh, it's out of gas? Okay, okay.
test, we were trying to see if it was going to go too rich. It went rich. Good safe limit, so we know how what the variance is now. Let me get the exact. Okay. We're running it rich. See how much the variance was in the percentage.
Okay.
So we know this percentage now between here and here. Now we can make corrections.
Okay. Run number 6, I did 261. The first two were baseline, and then the third one was kind of just testing so we can adjust and all that. And then it was back around the like mid 240s, kind of like how it was stock. And now that's like the proper tune with more adjustments. We did 260. We still gained about, I want to say like 10-ish or so. It is a very hot day, so that affects that a little bit too, but I'm still disappointed in the numbers. I was hoping like they'd all be closer to 300. We'll see if we can do more improvement. Getting up there. I like it. Let's keep going up.
When they're full of fuel or too rich, we've noticed with the base H2 and this one, regardless of having a rev limiter at whatever, once they get stuffed full of fuel, which is a very common practice to keep these cool and alive, they'll actually stop revving out and start to roll off. So you're going all the way to 14.6, but when it's 11.2, the power
is going lower and lower.
So it seems like we're not on the same rev limiter here, but we are. It's 100% the same. It's just right about here, that bike starts to, get full of fuel. So
I see. So that's like literally when you're still on the throttle, pretty much, and it just dips on its own.
And we ran into that problem this morning with the inaccurate sniffer on the H2. Was we had the limiter set higher, and the bike just essentially says nope because it's choking. So
Blow this thing out again?
Is there more room or what?
yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I want to keep it safe for you.
No, definitely. It's safety.
I know you're a nut, and I know this is an expensive motor.
Yeah, safety's number one, but
It's definitely.
I expected better numbers. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
It's definitely fat right now. It's definitely hot in here. There's.
It's very hot in here. I'm dying in this hoodie. I need to take it off. It's like
However,
80-something degrees.
I'm personally kind of baffled. Like the fuel maps on this bike, I thought would be pretty good. Park throttle, idle, lean, all over the place. Full throttle, really lean, then really rich. sure there's a reason for it. I don't really know, but I mean, we can bring this bike back to life. So I'm gonna go for a little more gently. Let's see if it cooperates. If not, we'll just bring it back down here on a cooler day. I think the bike in perfect conditions, 280, 285. You know, this dyno is a little stingier than most of the average dyno jets, which is cool. But it's realistic because you can go somewhere else and make 15 more horsepower.
One day we should bring my H2 to compare, because my H2 supposedly did 252 wheel.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much it would do here. It would be cool to bring both my H2 and this
Yeah.
one and compare the two kind of like back to back to see more accurate, because that's the thing for me. In the start, it was like my H2 was 253, and the first run wasn't good, remember, because it was cutting.
Yeah.
Go to the first actual run, so
Yeah.
number one, the second baseline run, because it did a little bit better.
Yeah.
A bit closer to that.
green, yeah. So it made like 4 or 5 more right here.
Yeah. So yeah, so I was just like kind of like, for an H2R, I definitely expected to make more than my stock H2, because, you know, like technically they have the same mods, because it full exhaust system, air filter, but this supposedly has like way more air that it's
Massive
taken in.
airbox.
Correct, and it has H2R cam, supercharger gears, and a bunch of other like upgrades. So that's why I'm like, how is it, even stock, it should be making a lot more than an H2. That's why I'm like,
I mean, we find it like, we talked about this earlier, there's a lot of bikes that don't dyno what they say they should.
Yeah.
And then there's some bikes that dyno high versus the manufacturer.
No.
Like the V4R is like the perfect example of, you know, what did I say, 238 or 237?
yeah.
They're lucky to dyno high 190s with the race kit. That's 215, 220 to me. You know, I feel like that bike's off. Overseas, there's much different fuel than what you guys have here in California.
That is true.
And
This is on 91, which is not the best.
That 98, 99 RON, in some cases they have 102 RON.
Yeah,
It's like race gas compared to this. So the Ducati, when it's rated in Italy, or this when it's rated in Japan, their fuel is superior. That could be some differences too. So
Yeah.
obviously this bike in a third world country with 89 octane and 120 degrees. I mean, I've tuned bikes in like Vietnam and stuff before. Those bikes are really hard to tune because they're, you know, you're battling temperatures and you're battling like poor fuel. But yeah, I mean, considering what's going on here, that pickup is nice.
Yeah, my issue isn't with like the H2R numbers. It's like comparing my H2 to this one.
For the money you spent, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I can think about is just because different dyno, different days, you know, it probably was cooler
Yeah.
temperature, but still they were too close for my liking for having at least, like, let's say if the exhausts are the same, you know, this is no benefit, the airbox is the same, it still has H2R cams and supercharged gears.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I thought it would do these numbers from the get-go.
So I
That's why
think-
I'm like kind of disappointed with this. The heat, it is pretty hot in here, and yeah, as you explained, I think that was like a very good point too that we should put in the video, is that this doesn't give enough air, like
No.
if you're going like 200 miles an hour, because you guys saw fifth
Very
gear on
close.
this thing went over 200 miles an hour. I saw that. That was crazy. It did 201 in fifth gear or something like that. So
There's a lot of variables between dynos as far as intake, extraction, calibration, whether it's a stack or like the web-based new dyno
Yeah.
jets. But realistically, the smartest thing to do is to take your other bike and bring it down here on a similar
typically
heat day.
the other H2 you guys have here should be similar, and that bike did what, like 230ish so far. So
Yeah,
let's
so
see.
We'll put that one on probably after finish tuning that,
Yeah.
obviously, for the time.
Because it's the same day, same temperature. Let's see if that
Yeah.
one, because if that one hits the 250s, then with this one, I'm like, I feel like it should make more
Yeah.
based on the power that it has.
No, I agree.
But if the other one did like 230 to 240, then that makes sense. It's just like, you know, given the day and the dyno is just reading lower in general. I'm just curious because, like, you know, the built H2s that they get the H2R cams, which obviously this has,
Yeah.
supercharger gears and an intercooler, which doesn't really affect power-wise that much. If it's, you know, good like cool temperatures and all that, and those are pushing over 300 wheel.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, how are these getting there? And they're pretty much trying to just put H2R parts on them.
The bikes that I see that make good power, and like I said, we're not experts, we're learning too. A lot of the bikes I see that make good power, H2s are on E85 or some sort of fuel. They're not really on ACN 91. 85 makes, you know, a huge difference. It's just, can the fuel system keep up with it? So there's some extra mods there, because it's like running race gas all the time. We can do with this setup.
Yeah.
and
compared to the other H2 that's here.
and then
too,
we have the other one.
That's more fair here at the same time.
Exactly. The only difference with that one, it's a little longer, a little more chain, eats a couple horsepower, minimal, but worth mentioning. You know, stock wheelbase versus extended. But yeah, and then at the end we'll overlay the graphs when that one's finished and this one's finished, and we'll go from there.
I'm definitely happy with the 270 because that's at least 20 more to the wheel than my H2, which at least I'm like, okay, I can justify the double the price for this. And of course the H2R is over 50 pounds lighter than the H2, so that matters too.
Yeah.
Obviously when you change the exhaust on the H2, you save a lot of weight. So, you know, probably I would say like an H2 modified properly, like, you know, the basic stuff will be around 500. This should be around 460 right now. So still that's about 40 pounds lighter, which matters a lot. 40 pounds lighter. So far it's 20 more wheel horsepower. Hopefully we'll get a little more out of it, but that makes me think, I don't know, should I just get another stock H2 and build it and have a 300 wheel horsepower bike, like something crazy?
H2's a lot of bang for your buck. What you pay for this bike isn't necessarily the engine, it's the other components.
The H2R too, the fact that it's, you know,
same thing with like
rare collectible.
Like I talked to you earlier, we dynoed an HV4 race versus like a 2018 with like exhaust and our velocity stacks. They made like the same power.
Yeah.
Now, the owner was kind of like, huh? But I mean, at the end of the day, like naturally aspirated horsepower in a bike motor is very expensive and very intricate. I mean, these motors are like full tilt, so like you can't just like put more lift or more duration in a camshaft and like make power. Like there's a lot going on. So the gains are incremental for what you spend. You know, guys will go, I spent 10 grand, I only made this. That's what it cost. You know what I mean? Like if you look up a stroker motor for a BMW or a GSX-R, it costs more than the bike.
No, it definitely, I mean, I understand too, like even spending money on parts, it adds up pretty quickly and it ends up being very expensive and crazy. Oh, did we already do some adjustments?
Yep.
All right. Hopefully it'll go up a little bit. I'm pretty happy with the 270, but you know, more is always better. That's how I see it. Well, not always, as long as it doesn't blow up, right?
Yeah.
Exhaust?
That might have given us a horsepower too, but peaks right there. We'll see.
Right now. Oh, I see. Yeah. Sometimes like little dyno anomalies. So.
Yeah, so technically it's at 265.
So not that 268. Yeah. 265.
And this should be a run number 8, I believe. So hopefully it does better.
Pushing out, like you can see the top of the run, it just shoots the damn thing out of it. And it's so hot, it starts to curl the whole tube.
comparing run number 1 to run number 10. This thing keeps flying off, so if he's going to get some zip ties, we're going to tighten it down so we can have it. There's so much going on here that keeps shooting out. We've got this now, this is coming off and disconnecting. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's like hot, suffocating. I don't know why I'm wearing a hoodie here. But yeah, pretty smooth grab, but now we have a lot more on top. One last run and then we're done. Now that everything is good. Leave it idling, it's gonna stutter. It's weird. First pass it stutters and then it's fine after that. Alright guys, we just wrapped up the H2R tuning and all that. Thank you to Troy and Bren. This was definitely a successful experience overall. This is the first run, not the first one, because you guys saw in the first one it was like cutting because we were low on fuel and the traction control was on. So the proper first run did 247 and 104 torque, and that was the final run, which I'll put it in here. I think you even filmed the number as you're like moving. That was the run, right? Yep. So like the last thing when we're filming just for Instagram and stuff like that, follow us there. That's the run that actually did the 272, but it's been in the between the 270 to 275 range after tuning. So yeah, that's about how much. You're better than me on math. About 30.
About 30 wheel, yeah.
Yeah, about 30 wheel horsepower. I was definitely, like you can see up here, that's like where it kind of like dies at what, a little past 12,000 RPM, close to 13. Usually it used to die, and now it just keeps going, and a lot more power. And you can see slight gain here as well, but like the graph is already good. It just has, it's longer and more powerful now. And as I said in his video, like just going through the gears, the 1 to 6 that we did for fun on Instagram, that bike felt crazy. In general, I was disappointed, as you guys saw like us talking before and all that. I felt like the H2R stock would be making the 270, 280 mark. There's a lot of factors, such as we said, like, you know, this air is only, it's good enough to cool it down, but I don't think it's good enough for the intake, for like power gain, because it's different if you're going 200 miles an hour. And that's because you guys saw in fifth gear, it hit what, 203 miles an hour?
Yeah, just in fifth. Just in
fifth gear. So yeah, not even the last gear. So it's already crazy. And of course the wind at these speeds are gonna be like way more intense than this little tunnel thing over here, as well as the heat. It's like getting close to 90 degrees over here. It's literally 86 degrees. So it's very hot in here, very humid. It's not the ideal conditions to be doing this, but the main thing, numbers aside, is the gain from the first run we did and run number 13, the last run that I did. And you see there the power difference. About 30 to the wheel is absolutely crazy, so I'm excited to ride this thing back home and do a little review on it. I doubt like I'll be able to experience the whole thing, because obviously, you know, that's a lot of power. There might be traffic and all that. We got to be somewhat safe, but still, like, I'm curious to see like if I notice any other differences, anything like that, because pretty much.
I think you'll notice the bottom end a little bit there, a little punchy. I think it's going to be a little more smooth on the throttle. Is what's going to happen.
I like smooth.
All the gains
smooth and more power. I like that.
This particular run we got 25 wheel out of it, but like you said, about 30 wheel on other passes, depending on which pass it was. But right here, this is where an H2R is supposed to shine, and you can see right here that's not shining right there. Now we got a wider power band. That's insane right there. How much wider that? I mean, forget just the numbers themselves. just this area right here, this bike would stomp all over that bike. It wouldn't even be a contest between these two bikes.
Yeah.
So it's really impressive that just fueling, because the bike is already 1-to-1 throttle. We didn't take off any restrictions from this bike. This is only fueling, no timing, nothing, just fuel. And we gained 25 wheel just on this pass alone, almost 30 on the other passes. That's impressive from just fueling. I mean, these bikes are drowning in fuel stock.
Yeah, so there you guys have it. And also it's crazy because up there, that's when I raced the Tessie H2, which was supposed to be at like 290 to 300 horsepower. Crank, of course, we're talking. I gave him like the jump. And then when I went, he kind of passed me a little bit in the start. And then up top, this is where this came and like kind of like destroyed it and whopped it. But now that we have like an extra 25 to 30 wheel horsepower up top, I can't even imagine what that would feel like. Because you guys have seen like some of the high-speed runs with this bike. It's already insane. So I can't imagine an extra
stock wheelbase.
An extra 25, 30 wheel horsepower. That's like comparing, I don't know, like what's tell you, like an R1 to like a V4R.
That's almost like
You know what I
changing
mean?
it from an impressive car modification. Forget a bike.
Yeah, like
Something that weighs this little,
that's
25
crazy
wheels.
numbers, crazy
Tiny
numbers.
big.
And we had an issue that I was like trying to explain, but it was very loud here, that the sniffer kept getting blown out because of all the like air and the
It
power of
pushes
this.
way too much air out of this thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like any other bike we tested, basically.
So we had an issue. We had to customize the rig and, you know, make it fit so we can get the proper AFR and all that. But we already did plenty of runs. I think in total we did like about 15 runs. So that's plenty for this bike. The bike was running cool. We didn't even go to 200 thanks to this like fan thing. It was doing somewhat of a decent job at least. So yeah, now gotta ride it back in the heat, in the traffic. So wish me luck, and that'll be the next video for you guys. So make sure you like, subscribe, and also of course check out Brent Tuning. You know, they're always amazing, and it's always fun hanging out with them. Besides him making me wake up like at sunrise to get all the way over
Sorry,
here.
man.
So you guys better like this video because I never wake up this early. I had like what, maybe 3-4 hours of sleep, but we had to get this done. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace out, ride safe.